Welcome back to Strength and Health for Life, where we hate MSG. Hello! Welcome to day 78 of our weight loss journey together. Before we begin, we ask that you smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell so you get all alerts, and watch the video all the way through. Also, if you have any topics you'd like to see in this channel, please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Today, we continue our series on food additives by talking about MSG. Good old monosodium glutamate. Oh, it's so hard to avoid. But we must try to avoid it because it's one of the worst things for our bodies. So before we go over the different names for it and the things that it causes, we should really discuss what it is. So what is MSG? I have no idea. MSG is commonly used as a flavor enhancer, although that isn't the only thing that it's used for. See, how it's created is they isolate glutamic acid molecules and bond them to sodium molecules. It's literally a synthetic salt. It's then purified into a white powder. It's a bunch of obesity powder. When used as a flavor enhancer, it's called D-glutamic or L-glutamic. In these forms, it still contains a lot of toxic byproducts from its creation. That just makes it worse. To add insult to injury, when this product is used in anything that's fermented, it creates additional toxic substances. Things like pyroglutamic acid, and plenty of other unwanted byproducts that can cause harm to your body. Unfortunately, the best way to avoid it is to eat natural foods. But I understand that can be expensive sometimes. By the way, if you're looking for a way to control your income and buy yourself more time to create the life that you want like I did, take action now and click the first link in the description to learn how. The reason why it's so hard for us to avoid MSG is because it has hidden names. It only has to be added to the ingredient list if it's added directly to the product you're using. But if it's added under a different process, it doesn't have to be directly listed under ingredients. Good old loopholes. At this point, you're probably wondering what kind of things it causes. Well, those that are sensitive to MSG will experience the following symptoms: brain fog, numbness, chest pressure, and pain. That's usually about 20 minutes after ingesting MSG. Oh, but it does have long-term effects too. You're not getting off that easy. Because it's also linked to fibromyalgia, obesity, high insulin and blood sugar, fatty liver, high cholesterol, metabolic syndrome. You know, that one where your metabolism slows down? Crap! High blood pressure, neurological and brain health issues, and disturbances in the gut-to-brain communications. And there's so much more! It really just depends on how many and what kind of byproducts there are in the MSG you've been ingesting. It also depends on how long you've been ingesting it. It's also been suggested that L-glutamic acid is the main culprit for most of these symptoms. But here's the thing, it's not the L-glutamic acid that's the issue, it's the fact that you're bonding it to a sodium molecule. Because the average human being has 4.4 grams of it in their body at any time. It's also the main ingredient in proteins. You know, the kind of proteins that are in eggs, milk, fish, and grains. The biggest difference is that in its natural state, L-glutamic acid is combined to other proteins in a chain. And when it's isolated during digestion, it doesn't cause any problems. However, when it's isolated and bonded to sodium like MSG and then you ingest it, you get such a high quantity of it in your body that it begins to cause problems. Not to mention its chemical structure changes, causes your body to react to it completely different. Because it's used as a processing agent in many packaged proteins, it also means that you have to be more selective about what protein powder you use. It's even found in a lot of foods that are labeled as health foods because of the breakdown of the vegetable oils and hydrolysis. So as you cruise down that good old health food aisle, make sure you check the labels and ingredients. But how do I identify it? Well, there's a ton of names for monosodium glutamate, as well as a ton of different items and manufacturing processes that use it and contain it. Because it's so bad for you and so hard to avoid, I'll go over every single one that I could find. And it's a long list. We'll break it down into 3 categories. The first being ingredients that always contain MSG. These are the ingredients that you must avoid, otherwise you're guaranteed to get MSG.
Begin with the names already.
Okay! Avoid the following ingredients: glutamic acid, glutamate, monosodium glutamate, monopotassium glutamate, calcium glutamate, monoammonium glutamate, magnesium glutamate, nitrium glutamate, yeast extract, anything hydrolyzed, calcium caseinate, sodium caseinate, yeast food, yeast nutrient, autolyzed yeast, gelatin, textured protein, soy protein concentrate, soy protein isolate, vetsin, Ajinomoto. Now, whey protein concentrate and whey protein isolate don't contain MSG, but they do contain free glutamic acids, which means that as long as you're eating healthy, nutritious foods during your meals, you shouldn't see any reactions. But you have to be careful to eat nutritious foods, otherwise there's a chance that it will react the way the MSG does in your body. So to reiterate, if you're eating whey protein, make sure you're also eating healthy, nutritious, natural foods. It also means that you have to be careful that your protein does not contain any of the other versions of MSG. There are some that don't, so just be careful and do some extra searching. The second group often contains MSG and free glutamic acids, but it doesn't mean it's guaranteed, just that the majority of the time they do. Carrageenan, bouillon and broth, stock, like chicken or beef stock, anything that says flavors or flavoring, maltodextrin, citric acid or citrate, anything ultra pasteurized, barley malt and pectin. Now, not pectin from apples, only pectin when it's isolated and added to a processed food. Protease, anything enzyme modified, anything containing enzymes, malt extract, soy sauce extract, anything protein fortified, anything fermented, and many of the seasonings that we add to our food. So make sure you go for organic seasonings. This will help ensure that any of the foods you cook won't have any added MSG or any free glutamic acids. In the third group are foods that can produce enough free glutamic acids to create a reaction. They don't necessarily have MSG added, but just the process of your body breaking them down can release glutamic acids. So it's best to avoid these anyway. Cornstarch and corn syrup. Corn syrup is horrible for you anyway, especially when it's high fructose corn syrup. If you're interested in learning more about high fructose corn syrup, click the banner right here to see our video all about high fructose corn syrup. Modified food starch, dextrose and rice syrup, milk powder and reduced fat milk. That means skim, 1% or 2%. I only drink whole milk myself, and organic at that. Most things labeled low fat or no fat. Well, that just about knocks out the entire health food aisle. Anything labeled enriched. That includes vitamin enriched. As you can see, avoiding MSG can be very difficult. The best ways to avoid MSG and free glutamic acids is to stick with organic and fresh natural foods. We should be doing this anyway in order to balance our diets, because the objective is to have a balanced, sustained diet that we can change to permanently. All this information can be hard to find and organize. It can be even harder to understand. Just like losing weight on your own is very difficult. It always helps to have someone to talk to and just be there for you, because we all need support at some point. So if you're looking for a weight loss community to help keep you motivated and accountable, or you're just wanting someone to be there for you along your weight loss journey, please follow us on Facebook and join our Facebook group. Those links are at the bottom of the description. With all that said, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next video.